Welcome to Enquiry into Self, and settle down. Just let any tension you're feeling to just relax and drain into the earth. Feel the support already here. And as you breathe, just notice that the heart beats. Notice the cells seem to be oxygenated. Just notice. Mind may think, nose may smell, skin may feel, gut may move. And then just relax into the source of aliveness, the source of being that is infusing all of these things. Infusing everything. This source of being, this core isness. This core isness is in a rock, in a light bulb. In fact, they don't really have much substance to them at all, it turns out. They're more space. And yet there seems to be an isness. There's an isness in all this manifestation. And find now, where might that isness erupt from? Just feel what would be the root of all the isness. Just sense isness, behind, underneath, before, pre-isness. There's timeless space. Timeless space, but with apparently some sort of wisdom that erupts as the isness. Just know the timeless space. Rest as the timeless space. Know the timeless space that is all permeating, all penetrating. Breathe as the timeless space. Sit as the timeless space. Even if there's thoughts, think as the timeless space. For all of it's just erupting from this timeless space. Allow the timeless space to be known while the movement happens, while the being happens, while the erupting happens. Know the timeless space as it's penetrating and percolating and erupting. Know the timeless space. And kind of expand into its vastness. Know this vastness that we are. Know it in your senses. Know it in your savoring. Know it in your tasting of it. Just marinate as this spaciousness. Marinate as this spaciousness. Let the head and thinking and seeing just marinate as the spaciousness. with the throat and the expressing and the guiding. Marinate as the spaciousness. Let the heart just relax as the spaciousness. Let the gut, all through the gut, just notice there is the spaciousness as well as whatever else is there. There is also the spaciousness. Marinate as the spaciousness. Let the hands and the feet and the whole energy system marinate as the spaciousness. No conditioning, no requirements, no demands, just marinating as the spaciousness. Just marinating as the spaciousness. Without anything to prove. Marinating as the spaciousness. Without a need to be understood or recognized. Marinating as the spaciousness. Before a need to be valued or appreciated or recognized, marinating as the spaciousness. Before a need to have security of any sort, marinating as the spaciousness. Just marinating as the spaciousness. There's no particular anything but this. No particular someone to be or to be with. No particular something to have. And perhaps there was a thought, something from the past, something from the future, something supposedly needed, a person needed to be different. Just notice those supposed needs. Supposedly this was needed in the past. Supposedly this will be needed in the future. Supposedly this person needs to be different. Just notice those supposed needs. And below them is just the movement. There's a movement towards and a movement away. Movement is inevitable. Maybe it doesn't have as much to do with the supposed needs. Maybe. What a relief if the movement could be simply towards and away. Simply movement towards and movement away. After all, the water droplets in the ocean, they coalesce here, they separate. They coalesce there, they separate. They splash, they sink, they rise. there's movement. The movement is inevitable. Maybe the interpretation of the needs could be a little more open. What was supposedly needed in the past, what was supposedly going to be needed in the future, the person who supposedly needs to be different right now. Maybe there's just a movement. Maybe there's just a movement toward and away, toward and away. And it's not about any of those needs, supposed needs. Maybe there's another choreography altogether. What happens in the system is we just open to that the choreography towards and away may have nothing to do with supposed needs. Just like flowers come out on a tree and petals fall, leaves come out on a tree, leaves fall. There's a coming and a going, coming and a going, a coming and a going. And perhaps there's never more than a supposed need. The coming and the going is natural and inevitable. Of course, there's the movement. No need to resist the movement. Come and go, come and go. Just maybe there's not as much of a need to label the coming and the going. What happens to the system when there's permission to be more simple? What happens to the system, this body-mind? What happens when there's permission to drop the explanations, the justifications, just to be simple? What happens to the system? No resistance. Or if there's resistance, no resistance to the resistance. Just a simple coming, a simple going. What happens? What happens? The labeling of the needs, the labeling of the requirements. Instead, what happens when there's simply letting it be coming, letting it be going? Nothing more, nothing less. Of course there's coming, of course there's going. There is more going to come and more coming to come, of course. Of course. What happens to the system when there's no labeling? What happens to the system when there's no requirement? Perhaps there's movement within, movement in the gut, movement in the heart, movement in the head. And just notice the infinite spaciousness out of which it all arises. And of course, there's coming and going within the head, coming and going within the heart, coming and going within the gut. But before there's labeling, what happens if there's no labeling? Only coming and going, no labeling. Coming and going in the head, coming and going in the heart, coming and going in the gut. No labeling, no requirement, no need. What happens to the system? Now just breathe and notice again the being already there. The peace holding the sound. The space holding the substance. Notice the being that is there effortlessly everywhere. No gap. And rest. Rest as this everything, nothing. Nothing emerging as everything. Rest as everything, nothing. Not contained in this label. No particular boundary, no particular edge before those labels. Just rest as the everything, nothing. Maybe the simplicity and maybe the clarity is innate. Inherent wisdom, inherent simplicity. No explanation, no justification, no requirement. Already here, always here, effortlessly right. Simply coming and going. All past, if it even existed, was simply coming and going. All future will just be coming and going. All sensation is simply coming and going. All conditions are simply coming and going. Just know this timeless being, the infinite, that has no edge, that has no requirement. Rest as this. Marinate as this. Of course, there will be what appears to be grasping and rejecting, hoping. That's just a label on coming and going. The nature moves into all of its manifestation. The nature comes and brings the coming and the going. The nature. Even the deepest desires are just the nature. The nature that erupts and erupts and erupts. Inevitable. Unstoppable. Inescapable nature. Inescapable, unharmable what we are. inescapable, unharmable, infinite being. Everything, nothing. The simplicity, the wisdom. Let this permeate all the coming and the going.